Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
For the first time since 2011, WWE split the Raw and Smackdown brands in 2016. A lot changed, some good, some not so good. We've seen NXT call-ups, a refresh of characters, and the rise of new talent. But we have also seen loads of pay-per-views, too many world champions, and some very stale feuds. I am Luke Owen, and these are the 5 worst things about the WWE Brand Split. During the original brand split, WWE separated their monthly pay-per-views between the two brands. For example, Raw would get one in August and then SmackDown show would be in September. This allowed for some long-term booking, which didn't always quite pay off. With the advent of the network, however, WWE now has the option to run as many shows as their checkbook will allow. As a result, we now usually get a 3-hour pay-per-view every couple of weeks. This can feel like overkill. The events of Great Balls of Fire are still fresh in our minds, when suddenly we have to get excited about a Punjabi prison match between Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal. And with the way WWE books storylines, where only championship matches get full attention, the undercard bouts are usually filler, which makes their pay-per-views feel like extended episodes of the TV shows. The original idea during the brand split was that the WWE Champion, or Undisputed Champion back then, would work both Raw and SmackDown. This changed later in the year when Brock Lesnar signed exclusively to SmackDown and Triple H was handed the World Heavyweight Championship. Suddenly, WWE had 2 world titles. Although it started out prestigious, the World Heavyweight Championship eventually became an afterthought, a prop for guys to fight over, often resulting in the championship match opening the pay-per-view when they went back to dual brand shows. And now we have 2 world titles again in the WWE and Universal Championships. Moreover, you have 2 sets of tag team champions and 2 women's championships. Coupled with the 2 world titles, they all feel like gimmicks to set up feuds rather than coveted accomplishments. The WWE Championship lost a lot of value during the original brand split, and it wasn't given credence again until the 2 belts merged in 2013. Wouldn't have CM Punk's 434-day world title reign meant more if Sheamus wasn't defending another world title on the same show? Wouldn't Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose's tag team title win meant more at SummerSlam if the Usos didn't win the same belts on the pre-show? Sometimes less is more. Despite having the biggest depth of any roster in WWE history, seriously, think about the amount of talent on both Raw and SmackDown. The brand split has somehow created stale feuds. From September to December 2016, we saw Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, and Chris Jericho having the same matches and storylines over and over again. Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal feuded over the WWE Championship for 4 months. That's a third of a year. Dean Ambrose and The Miz started a feud in December 2016, and it finally ended in July 2017. 8 months later. When you only have a few tag teams on each roster, you quickly cycle through the matches you can have. How many times did we see the New Day face off against Gallows and Anderson before the end of 2016? The same goes for the women on both brands. Big E once openly joked on SmackDown about how many times Charlotte and Sasha Banks would fight over the title. I never thought I'd say this, but there are only so many times you can see Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. Let's face it, no one likes the 3-hour Raws. No one. Well, I mean, no one in their right mind at the very least. Although Raw has the larger roster of the 2 brands, the 3-hour format exposes it, making it look smaller because you're seeing the same guys and girls week in, week out. See the previous feuds growing stale points. Because there are 3 whole hours to fill, excluding the ad breaks of course, we sometimes get extended squash matches, Elias Sampson guitar segments, or really lengthy and unnecessary in-ring promos. On the plus side, it does mean we get longer and more competitive matches. It's very uncommon for an episode of Raw to not feature a 20 to 25 minute match, which is a real treat for us fans. The downside of this though is that the 3-hour pay-per-views also feature 20 to 25 minute matches featuring the same people, which means they no longer feel as special or important. With so much TV time to fill, you end up having Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor in a long match on Raw, only for them to have the exact same match less than a week later on pay-per-view. This is not a great way to tell stories. The WWE Brand Split was a reaction to Vince McMahon buying out his competition WCW in 2001. If you don't have competition, you just create your own, Raw v SmackDown, rather than WWF versus WCW. When Vinnie Mac announced the new brand split in 2016, it was the same principle. Stephanie runs Raw and Shane runs SmackDown, competing over ratings, merchandise sales, social media shares, and other unimportant things. The problem is, however, is that both shows are exactly the same. WCW was a very different product to the WWF. Its presentation was different. The wrestling styles were different. The rosters were vastly different. The commentary was different. Because of that, both shows drew different fans. WWE want this with Raw and SmackDown, but when both shows are exactly the same, you just draw the same fans. The sets look the same. They both have 3-man commentary booths, which sound the same, and the wrestling is the same across the board. There isn't anything that separates Raw and SmackDown apart from the roster and the colors red and blue. And when both shows look and feel the same, there isn't that level of competition that WWE are trying to replicate. The Rock left in the early years of the first brand split. Find out why, and which NXT stars got botched call-ups. Find out more by clicking these videos over there. Press subscribe and support WrestleTalk on Patreon. I have been Luke Owen, and that was a list.